The year was 2157 when humanity first met the stars. Commander David Harrison still remembered that day clearly. The massive alien ships had appeared over Earth like floating cities. Their hulls gleamed with strange metals that Earth had never seen before. The beings inside called themselves the Galactic Council. "Welcome, young species," the tall alien leader had said. His name was Chancellor Vexistar, and his blue skin seemed to glow under the meeting room lights. "We have watched your kind for some time. You show promise." Earth's leaders sat around the table like children meeting their teachers for the first time. President Martinez spoke for humanity. "We are honored by your visit. What can we offer each other?" The alien smiled with too many teeth. "You humans are strong workers. Your bodies can handle difficult jobs that other species cannot. We will give you protection and new technology. In return, some of your people will come with us to work in our colonies." It seemed like a fair deal at the time. Earth was struggling with pollution and overcrowding. The chance to spread across the galaxy was like a dream come true. The council showed them videos of beautiful worlds with clean air and endless space. They promised that human families could build new lives among the stars. Within 10 years, millions of humans had left Earth. They traveled to mining worlds, farming planets, and construction sites across the galaxy. The work was hard, but the pay was good. Human children grew up speaking alien languages alongside English. Many families had never been happier, but humans were not considered equals. In council meetings, they had no vote. On alien worlds, they lived in separate areas. Signs in many places read "Council species only" in dozens of alien languages. Humans learned quickly that they were seen as useful animals, nothing more. The aliens underestimated human curiosity. While working in alien factories, humans studied the machines. While building alien cities, they learned about alien engineering. Every human colony became a secret school where knowledge was shared and stored. Dr. Sarah Chen was one of those learning humans. She worked in a technology research facility on the planet Kepler 442b. Her official job was to clean and maintain the alien computers, but Sarah had been a computer engineer on Earth. When the aliens were not watching, she studied their systems. "Their quantum processors are amazing," she whispered to her colleague Marcus Rivera during a lunch break, "but they use them in such simple ways. With human creativity, we could make them 10 times more powerful." Marcus nodded carefully. They had to be cautious. Aliens had cameras and listening devices everywhere. But the desire to learn was too strong to stop. "My cousin Elena is on Proxima Station. She says the humans there have figured out how their gravity generators work." This pattern repeated across dozens of worlds. Humans shared information through secret networks. They used their access to alien technology to slowly unlock its mysteries. The aliens thought humans were too simple to understand advanced science. This mistake would cost them dearly. The breakthrough came on a mining world called Haven. The human colony there had been digging for basic metals when they found something incredible. Deep underground were crystals that glowed with their own light. When human scientists tested them carefully, they discovered these crystals could store massive amounts of energy. Colony leader James Foster sent an encrypted message to Earth immediately. "We have found something that changes everything. These quantum crystals could power Earth for 1,000 years. The aliens do not know about them yet." But the secret did not last long. An alien inspection team arrived on Haven 3 months later. When they saw the crystals, their eyes grew wide with greed. Chancellor Vexistar himself came to inspect the discovery. "These crystals are beyond human understanding," he declared to the colonists. "The Council will take control of this world for proper development. You humans will be relocated to other colonies where you can be more useful." The humans of Haven knew what relocated really meant. They had heard stories from other colonies. When aliens wanted land or resources, humans simply disappeared. Sometimes there were reports of transport ships with no destinations. Sometimes human colonies just went silent. Foster stood before the Chancellor with dignity. "This is our home. Our children were born here. We discovered these crystals through our own hard work." The alien leader laughed coldly. "You humans do not own anything. You exist because the Council allows it. You will pack your belongings and leave within 7 days." But the humans of Haven had learned to be smart over the decades. They had been preparing for something like this. Hidden throughout the colony were emergency transmitters. Foster pressed a small button on his wrist, and across the galaxy, human colonies received a simple message: "The time has come." What happened next would be remembered as the Haven Massacre. The aliens did not wait 7 days. They came with weapons and ships on the 3rd day. They said humans were taking too long to leave. They said humans were hiding resources. The attack lasted 6 hours. When it ended, 2.3 million human men, women, and children were dead. The few survivors were taken to work camps on distant worlds. The aliens took the quantum crystals and began mining operations immediately. The galaxy thought the story ended there. Human colonies across the stars received the news in silence. They continued working, building, and serving their alien masters. They seemed broken and defeated. But in secret meeting rooms and hidden communications, a different story began. The death of Haven had done something the aliens never expected. It had united humanity with a single purpose. Every human colony, every worker, every family now shared one goal. The aliens had made a terrible mistake. They had killed humans thinking it would make the survivors more obedient. Instead, they had created an enemy more dangerous than they could imagine. The survivors of Haven spread across the galaxy carried a message that would echo for 50 years. Remember Haven, remember the fallen, and prepare. 50 years passed after the Haven massacre, and the galaxy seemed peaceful. Human colonies continued their work without complaint. Children grew up learning both human and alien languages. To outside observers, humanity had accepted its place in the galactic order. But appearances could be deceiving. In a hidden laboratory beneath the surface of Earth's moon, Dr. Sarah Chen worked by the light of alien technology. Now in her 70s, she had spent half a century unlocking secrets the aliens never meant to share. Her hair was silver, but her eyes still burned with the curiosity that had kept her alive. "Marcus, come look at this," she called to her old friend. Marcus Rivera, now in his 80s but still sharp, moved carefully across the laboratory floor. Around them, dozens of younger humans worked at stations filled with hybrid technology. "The quantum crystal resonance patterns are finally stable," Sarah explained, pointing to a screen full of data. "We can now store energy at 95% efficiency. The aliens only achieve 60% with their methods." Marcus smiled grimly. Elena would have been proud. Her gravity research from Proxima Station made this possible. Elena had died 15 years earlier, but her work lived on. Every human colony had contributed something to this project. Mining colonies provided materials. Research stations offered scientific knowledge. Even transport workers shared information about alien shipping routes and defense systems. The network had grown slowly and carefully. Humans learned to communicate through methods the aliens could not detect. They used old radio frequencies that alien technology ignored. They embedded messages in work reports and supply requests. Most importantly, they used the aliens' own dismissive attitudes against them. "Humans are too simple to understand quantum physics," the aliens often said. So when humans asked basic questions about alien technology, the aliens answered freely. They never imagined that these simple questions were mapping their entire technological framework. On the planet New Geneva, Engineer Lieutenant Kelly Park supervised the construction of an alien space station. To the alien overseers, she was just another human worker, making sure the construction robots functioned properly. In reality, she was documenting every detail of alien construction methods. "The structural support beams use a titanium quantum alloy," she reported through encrypted channels to Earth. "But they have a weakness. If you disrupt the quantum field at exactly 47.3 terahertz, the metal becomes brittle." This information joined thousands of other discoveries in humanity's hidden database. Humans had spent 50 years learning how alien technology worked. More importantly, they had learned how to break it. The real breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. James Foster, Jr., son of the Haven colony leader, had become one of the galaxy's leading experts on quantum crystal technology. The aliens trusted him because he had been born after the massacre and seemed to hold no grudges. But Foster remembered the stories his father had told him before his death. He remembered the 2.3 million humans who had died for the crime of discovering something valuable. He had spent 30 years gaining alien trust for this moment. Working in the Council's primary research facility, Foster made a discovery that changed everything. The quantum crystals from Haven were not just energy storage devices. When combined with Earth's magnetic field technology, they could create a new type of space drive. "Admiral Chen," he transmitted to Sarah's daughter, who now commanded Earth's secret fleet. "The crystals can create dimensional phase shifts. A ship using this technology can pass through solid matter like it was empty space. Admiral Liu Chen read the message 3 times before believing it. This was the weapon they had dreamed of for 50 years. Alien shields and armor would be useless against ships that could phase through matter. The Earth Defense Force had officially disbanded after first contact with the Council. The aliens had insisted that humans did not need weapons since the Council provided protection, but the EDF had not really disbanded. It had gone underground. Hidden shipyards operated in asteroid fields beyond Pluto. Human mining operations on distant worlds secretly extracted materials for ship construction. Transport pilots carried more than just cargo on their regular runs between colonies. The ships looked like ordinary human cargo vessels from the outside. Their hulls were built from standard human metals and composites. But inside, they carried hybrid technology that no alien species had ever imagined. Human creativity had taken alien technology in directions the aliens never considered. Where aliens saw individual components, humans saw integrated systems. Where aliens followed established patterns, humans experimented with new combinations. Commander Maria Santos stood on the bridge of the Earthship Retribution, one of 50 vessels in humanity's hidden fleet. The ship's hull was scarred and worn, designed to look like it had seen decades of hard labor. Inside, it contained some of the most advanced technology in the galaxy. All systems show green, Admiral, Santos reported to Liu Chen, who observed from Earth Command. The phase drive is stable and weapons are charged. These weapons were another human innovation. The aliens used energy beams and particle cannons that could destroy ships but left space debris. Human weapons were designed differently. They used quantum crystal technology to collapse matter at the molecular level. Ships hit by human weapons simply ceased to exist. The network was vast now. Every human colony had members who were ready. Transport workers, miners, researchers, even the servants in alien government buildings. They had all spent decades preparing for this moment. On the planet Rigel 7, janitor Thomas Kim cleaned the floors of the Planetary Defense Center every night. The alien guards barely noticed him anymore. He was just another human doing simple work. But Kim had been mapping their computer systems for 20 years. When the time came, he would shut down their defenses with the press of a button. Similar preparations had been made across the galaxy. Human workers had access to every major alien facility. Cooks in alien restaurants, mechanics in starports, construction teams building government buildings. All of them had been learning, planning, and preparing. The aliens' greatest strength had become their greatest weakness. They were so used to having humans around that they had become invisible. No alien leader thought twice about having human servants in their most secret meetings. Admiral Chen received the final reports from human agents across the galaxy. Every target had been identified. Every weakness had been documented. The alien military forces that seemed so powerful were actually vulnerable in 1,000 different ways. 50 years of patience, she said quietly to herself.
50 years of preparation.
Today we find out if it was enough. The message went out on frequencies the aliens could not detect. 3 simple words in dozens of human languages. Remember Haven Day. On Earth, in hidden bunkers and underground facilities, humans watched screens showing alien worlds across the galaxy. In 12 hours, those worlds would learn what happened when you murdered 2.3 million innocent people. The galaxy was about to discover that humans had learned far more than just alien technology over the past 50 years. They had learned patience. They had learned to work together across vast distances. Most importantly, they had learned that revenge was a dish best served cold. The time for hiding was over. The Nexus Prime Station hung in space like a great wheel of light and metal. It was the pride of the Galactic Council, a space station so large it had its own weather systems. Every 100 years, representatives from all 47 council species gathered here for the Centennial Summit. Chancellor Vextar, now ancient but still in power, looked out at the great assembly hall with satisfaction. Beings from across the galaxy filled the chamber. Some breathed methane and wore environmental suits. Others were energy beings that appeared as glowing clouds. A few were machine intelligences housed in robotic bodies. The council has achieved great prosperity, he announced to the gathered delegates. Our territory has expanded. Our resources have grown. Our power reaches every corner of the galaxy. The crowd responded with approval in dozens of different ways. Some species clapped. Others made musical sounds. Energy beings pulsed with bright colors. but all showed the same emotion: pride in what they had accomplished. In the service areas beneath the main hall, humans moved quietly through corridors carrying food and drinks. They maintained the station systems, cleaned the guest quarters, and served the alien delegates without being noticed. Maria Gonzalez pushed a cart of fresh towels through the upper levels, invisible to the important beings discussing the future of the galaxy. What the aliens did not know was that Maria had been taking photographs of their security systems for 3 months. Hidden in her cleaning supplies was a camera smaller than a fingernail. Every door lock, every guard post, every surveillance device had been documented and shared with Earth Command. The council members took their seats in the Great Chamber. Each species had earned their place through conquest, advanced technology, or ancient treaties. They looked down on the few humans present with the casual indifference they might show to furniture. "Let us begin with territorial reports," announced the Zephyrian Secretary General. Her species resembled large insects with wings that sparkled like jewels. "The expansion into Sector 7739 has been most successful." Admiral Thexmore of the Krell Navy stood to give his report. The Krell were warrior species, tall and covered in scales like armored dinosaurs. "The mining operations are exceeding expectations. Human workers have increased output by 23% over the past decade." Several council members nodded approvingly. Humans were useful, even if they were not worthy of real consideration. The discussion continued with reports from various sectors. Resource extraction was up. New worlds had been colonized. Trade routes had expanded. But there was one topic that had been growing in importance over the past few years. Some council members had begun to question whether maintaining the human population was worth the effort. "The humans consume resources that could be better used elsewhere," declared Ambassador Zexhai of the Crystalline Collective. Her species appeared as walking gemstones that communicated through light patterns. "They require food, housing, and medical care that serves no purpose for council advancement." A murmur of agreement ran through the chamber. Many species had been thinking the same thing. Humans had been useful for manual labor, but automation was improving. Robots could do much of the work that humans currently performed. Chancellor Vextar raised a clawed hand for silence. "The human question has indeed become relevant. They multiply rapidly and consume resources at an increasing rate. Perhaps it is time to consider final solutions." The phrase sent ripples of interest through the assembly. Final solutions was council terminology for the complete elimination of problem species. It had been used 17 times in council history when species became more trouble than they were worth. "I propose we vote," continued the Chancellor. "Should the human species be terminated to free resources for more worthy uses?" In the service corridors, human workers continued their tasks as if nothing was happening, but each of them wore a small communication device disguised as a uniform button. They could hear every word being spoken in the main chamber. James Park, great-grandson of the original Haven colonist, served drinks to council members while listening to them debate his species' extinction. His hands remained steady as he poured alien beverages, but his heart raced. This was the moment they had been preparing for. The debate continued for hours. Some council members argued that humans still had uses. Others insisted that automation made human labor unnecessary. A few suggested keeping small populations for experimental purposes. "Humans are unpredictable," warned General Mordak of the Hive Collective. His species shared a group consciousness and distrusted individualistic thinking. Their chaotic minds could pose future problems if left unchecked. This comment drew bitter laughter from the assembly. The idea that humans could pose a threat to the mighty Galactic Council seemed absurd. These were beings who had mastered faster-than-light travel when humans were still using stone tools. The technological gap was so vast that humans might as well have been insects. "What could humans possibly do?" asked Chancellor Vextar with amusement. "They do not even have their own starships. Their entire population exists at our pleasure." The Crystalline Collective representative pulsed with patterns of light that translated as agreement. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. Their military was disbanded decades ago. They pose no threat to anyone." More laughter filled the chamber. The various species shared stories about human simplicity, how they asked basic questions about technology, how they seemed impressed by simple alien devices, how they accepted their inferior status without complaint. "I have worked with humans for 30 years, declared Science Director Veltar of the Academic Union. "They are curious but lack the mental capacity for true innovation. They can follow instructions but cannot grasp complex theories. In the kitchen, cook Sandra Williams carefully prepared meals while listening to aliens discuss her people's intelligence. She had 3 degrees in engineering and had spent 20 years studying alien technology. But the aliens saw only a simple human who prepared their food. The vote was finally called as the station's artificial day cycle approached evening. The process was formal and ceremonial. Each species cast their decision using traditional methods. Some spoke aloud. Others used technological interfaces. A few performed ritual dances. The results were overwhelming. 43 species voted for human extinction. Only 4 voted to keep humans alive for continued labor. The motion passed by the largest margin in Council history. "It is decided," announced Chancellor Vextar with satisfaction. "The human species will be terminated. All human populations will be eliminated within 1 standard year. Military commands will receive their orders tomorrow." The chamber erupted in celebration. The Council had made another decisive move to improve galactic efficiency. Resources wasted on humans could now be directed toward more worthy projects. It was seen as an excellent example of practical decision-making. As the session ended, Council members returned to their luxury quarters throughout the station. They would spend the evening enjoying fine foods and entertainment before departing to their homeworlds. The human extinction orders would be issued in the morning, and the task would be completed within months. In the service areas, humans continued working through the night. They cleaned dishes, maintained systems, and prepared for the next day's activities. To any observer, they seemed unchanged by the news of their species' doom, but in reality, everything had changed. The final message was transmitted through channels the aliens could never detect. 3 words that would echo across the galaxy. Execute Order Haven. After 50 years of preparation, humanity was finally ready to show the Galactic Council what humans could really do when they stopped pretending to be simple servants. The aliens were about to learn that their greatest mistake was not underestimating human intelligence. Their greatest mistake was believing their own lies about human inferiority. Tomorrow would be a very different day. The morning shift began like any other on Nexus Prime Station. Human workers reported to their assignments across the massive structure. In the kitchens, they prepared breakfast for the council delegates. In the corridors, they cleaned and maintained the station systems. In the guest quarters, they serviced the rooms of important alien visitors. But today was different. As the artificial sun reached its zenith in the station's sky, something extraordinary happened. Every human worker on the station stopped their task at exactly the same moment. In the main dining hall, cook Sandra Williams set down her serving utensil and stood perfectly still. Across the station, janitor Thomas Kim stopped mopping and straightened his back. In the engine rooms, maintenance worker Carlos Rodriguez stepped away from his control panel and turned toward the nearest communication screen. The action was synchronized across all 7 levels of the station. Hundreds of human workers scattered throughout Nexus Prime suddenly stood at attention like soldiers responding to an invisible command. The alien delegates initially paid no attention. Humans often seem to have strange group behaviors. But as minutes passed without any humans returning to work, concern began to spread through the station. In the Central Council chamber, Chancellor Vextar was reviewing the morning's agenda when his assistant, a nervous Aquarian named Blubtok, approached with obvious distress. "Chancellor, we have a situation," the fish-like being reported, his gills fluttering with anxiety. "The human workers have all stopped working. They just stand there not responding to commands." Vexitar's expression shifted from annoyed to curious. "Perhaps they are having some kind of group malfunction. Send security teams to restore order." But before Blubtok could respond, the main holographic display in the chamber activated without authorization. The alien technicians scrambled to regain control of their systems, but nothing worked. The display remained active, showing only empty space. Then she appeared. The image resolved into a middle-aged human woman wearing a military uniform that no council member had ever seen before. Her bearing was confident, her expression calm and determined. Behind her, the bridge of a starship was visible, with human crew members working at advanced control stations. "Greetings. Members of the Galactic Council," the woman said in clear, perfect galactic standard. "I am Admiral Liu Chen of the Human Liberation Fleet." The chamber erupted in confusion. Council members turned to each other with expressions of disbelief. "Admiral, Fleet?
The humans did not have a military.
They certainly did not have starships. I know you have many questions, Admiral Chen continued, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's sound system. Allow me to address the most important ones. Yes, we humans do have a military. Yes, we do have starships. And yes, we have been planning this moment for exactly 50 years. Chancellor Vextar stepped forward, his blue skin darkening with anger. This is impossible. Human technology is primitive. You do not have the capability for spaceflight, let alone military vessels. Admiral Chen smiled slightly. You are correct that our original technology was primitive. But you made a critical error, Chancellor. You gave us access to your technology and assumed we were too simple to understand it. The display changed to show technical diagrams that made several council members gasp in recognition. These were detailed schematics of advanced alien systems, but with modifications that none of them had ever imagined. For 50 years, humans have worked in your factories, your research stations, your military bases, the Admiral explained. We have cleaned your laboratories, maintained your computers, and served your meals, all while learning everything there was to know about your technology. Science Director Veltar of the Academic Union stood up abruptly. Impossible. Humans lack the mental capacity for advanced engineering. I have tested this personally. You tested what we allowed you to test, Admiral Chen replied. Dr. Sandra Williams, currently standing in your kitchen, has degrees in quantum physics and computer engineering. Janitor Thomas Kim has spent 20 years mapping your security systems. Every human you dismissed as simple has been gathering intelligence for this moment. The council members began to understand the scope of what they were hearing. 50 years of infiltration. 50 years of learning their most carefully guarded secrets. The realization was staggering. But you have no resources to build starships, protested Admiral Thexmore of the Krell Navy. We monitor all human activities. Admiral Chen's smile grew wider. You monitor the activities you can see. You never thought to look beyond your own solar systems. Human mining operations have been extracting materials from asteroids and distant worlds for decades. Your own transport pilots have been carrying components to secret shipyards. The display showed images that sent shockwaves through the assembly. Massive construction facilities hidden in asteroid fields. Fleets of ships that looked like converted cargo vessels but clearly contained advanced technology. Thousands of humans working in spacesuits and environmental systems that the Council had never authorized. This brings us to our current situation. Admiral Chen continued. Last night you voted to exterminate the human species. Today we are here to present our response to that decision. The chamber fell silent. Even the most arrogant council members began to sense that they were facing something they had not prepared for. Your first lesson begins. Now, the Admiral announced. The lights in the chamber dimmed as emergency. Alarms began sounding throughout the station. On the main display, tactical screens showed something that should have been impossible. Ships were appearing on the station's sensors, materializing out of empty space as if they had been invisible. Phase drive technology, Admiral Chen explained calmly as panic spread through the chamber. A human innovation based on the quantum crystals you stole from Haven. Our ships can pass through solid matter like it was empty space. Your shields and armor are useless against us. General Mordak of the Hive Collective activated his personal communicator, trying to contact the station's defense forces. But there was no response. Our military systems are not responding, he reported with growing alarm. That would be the work of our infiltration teams, Admiral Chen said. Thomas Kim has been cleaning your defense center for 20 years. He knows your systems better than your own technicians. Every major alien facility in this sector has been compromised by human agents you never noticed. The display changed again to show live feeds from across the galaxy. Alien military bases with their defense grids mysteriously offline. Starports where ships could not launch because their systems had been sabotaged. Government buildings where human janitors and maintenance workers had suddenly taken control of critical systems. This is impossible, Chancellor Vextar whispered. You are servants. You are primitives. We were your servants, Admiral Chen corrected. But we were never primitive. You made the mistake of confusing obedience with stupidity. You confused humility with inability. The tactical display showed the approaching human fleet in detail. 50 ships that registered as simple cargo vessels but moved with the precision of military craft. Their approach vectors indicated they could attack the station from any direction, passing through its defenses as if they did not exist. Here is what happens now, Admiral Chen announced. You have 72 hours to begin evacuating all human territories and releasing all human prisoners. Any attempt to harm human populations will result in immediate retaliation. You cannot threaten the entire Galactic Council, shouted the Zephyrian Secretary General, her jeweled wings flashing with indignation. We are not threatening, Admiral Chen replied. We are demonstrating. The display changed one final time to show 3 alien worlds simultaneously. Each had major council military installations that were considered impregnable. Each had defensive systems that could repel entire fleets. The human ships appeared without warning, passing through the planetary shields like they were made of air. The installations lasted less than 10 minutes each. When the attacks ended, the military bases had been completely destroyed, but the surrounding cities were untouched. Precision strikes, Admiral Chen explained as the council members stared in horror. We could have destroyed those planets entirely. Instead, we eliminated only military targets. This is your demonstration of human capability and human restraint. The chamber was in chaos now. Council members argued frantically among themselves. Some demanded immediate military action. Others called for negotiations. A few began calculating how quickly they could evacuate their homeworlds. 72 hours, Admiral Chen repeated. We will not negotiate. We will not compromise. You declared war on humanity last night. Today you learn what war with humans actually means. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. The holographic display returned to normal, but everything had changed. The humans they had dismissed as servants had revealed themselves as perhaps the most dangerous military force the galaxy had ever seen. In the service corridors of the station, human workers returned to their tasks as if nothing had happened. But now the aliens looked at them with new eyes. Every human face seemed to hide intelligence and capabilities they had never imagined. The Galactic Council had made many mistakes over the centuries, but none had been as costly as underestimating the species they had. Terror was not an emotion that the Galactic Council members experienced often. For 1,000 years they had been the apex predators of space. Their technology was supreme, their military unbeatable, their authority absolute. But now, as they sat in the emergency session called after Admiral Chen's demonstration, pure fear filled the great chamber. Chancellor Vextar's hands shook as he activated the Council's most secure communication systems. The display showed live feeds from across the galaxy, and every image told the same story. Human populations that had seemed helpless for decades were now in complete control of their worlds. Report from Kepler 442b, announced the trembling voice of Governor Zexlin. All planetary defenses are offline. Human workers have taken control of the power grid, communication systems, and transportation networks. They are not violent, but they have made it clear that we are no longer in charge. Similar reports came from dozens of worlds. On mining planets, human workers had revealed hidden weapons and taken control of operations. On research stations, human janitors had locked alien scientists out of their own laboratories. On military bases, human cooks had somehow gained access to command centers and disabled entire fleets. The pattern was the same everywhere. Humans who had seemed simple and obedient for 50 years had simultaneously revealed themselves as highly trained operatives with detailed knowledge of alien systems. How is this possible? Demanded General Mordak, his hive mind species struggling to comprehend individual planning on such a massive scale. Our intelligence networks detected no unusual human activity. Admiral Chen's voice came through the communication system with perfect clarity. Because your intelligence networks were run by humans. Your translators, your data analysts, your communication technicians. We have been your eyes and ears for 50 years. The realization hit the Council like a physical blow. Every major alien government relied on human workers for countless support tasks. They had access to everything because the aliens had given them access, never imagining they might be intelligent enough to use it. Dr. Foster, Admiral Chen continued, would you care to explain the technical aspects? A new human face appeared on the display. Dr. James Foster Jr., whom many council members recognized as a trusted quantum crystal researcher. His betrayal was particularly shocking, because aliens had considered him a friend. The quantum phase drive was actually quite simple to develop once we understood the basic principles. Foster explained with the calm tone of a professor giving a lecture. You taught us everything we needed to know. We just applied human creativity to imagine new applications. He gestured to a technical diagram that appeared beside his image. Your ships use quantum crystals for energy storage. We use them to manipulate space-time itself. Your weapons fire through space. Our weapons fire through dimensions. Your shields deflect attacks. Our ships ignore shields entirely. The crystalline collective representative pulsed with patterns of light that translated as desperation. Surely we can reach some accommodation. The Council has resources. We can offer trade agreements, technology sharing, territorial concessions. Admiral Chen's expression remained unchanged. 50 years ago, the human colony on Haven offered to share quantum crystal technology with the Council. Your response was genocide. You murdered 2.3 million innocent people, including children who had never harmed anyone. The chamber fell silent. Many Council members had forgotten about Haven entirely. It had been a minor incident in their long history of expansion. But humans clearly had not forgotten. Every human in the galaxy knows the names of the children who died on Haven. Admiral Chen continued. We have memorials on every human world. We remember their birthdays. We remember their dreams. And we remember that the Galactic Council considered their lives worthless. Chancellor Vextar tried to regain control of the situation. That was 50 years ago. Different leadership, different circumstances. Surely we can move beyond past conflicts. Can you bring back the dead? Admiral Chen asked quietly. Can you give those children the lives you stole from them? The question hung in the air like a judgment. The Council members shifted uncomfortably, realizing that they were not just facing a military threat. They were facing the consequences of moral choices they had made with casual indifference. Yesterday, you voted to repeat Haven on a galactic scale. Admiral Chen continued. You decided that all humans should die because we consume resources you want for yourselves. You made this choice with the same casual cruelty you showed 50 years ago. She paused to let the words sink in. But today you have learned something new. Humans are not the helpless victims you thought we were. We are not the simple servants you imagined. We are a species that has spent 50 years preparing for justice. The tactical display showed the current military situation across Council space. Human forces had appeared simultaneously on every major alien world. Council fleets found themselves trapped in their own bases by human workers who had sabotaged their systems. Planetary governors were prisoners in their own palaces, guarded by humans they had never suspected. Your military strength was an illusion, Admiral Chen explained. It depended entirely on humans who maintained your ships, prepared your food, and operated your communication systems. The moment we stopped cooperating, your entire military became helpless. Science Director Veltar spoke up desperately. What do you want? Surely this display of power is enough. You have proven your point. Our point, Admiral Chen replied, is that attempting genocide has consequences. You cannot murder millions of humans and expect the survivors to continue serving you faithfully. The display changed to show human populations across the galaxy. For the first time, Council members saw humans as they really were. Scientists, engineers, doctors, artists, teachers, and warriors. A complete civilization that had been hiding in plain sight for 50 years. We want what any species wants, Admiral Chen said. We want to live freely in our own territory. We want to raise our children without fear. We want to explore the galaxy and build relationships with species that treat us as equals. She gestured to the display showing human worlds. We have already taken control of 73 star systems. These are systems where humans have lived and worked for decades. We consider them our rightful territory. The number stunned the Council. 73 systems represented a significant portion of Council space. Losing them would be an economic and strategic disaster. You cannot simply claim Council territory, protested the Zephyrian Secretary General. We are not claiming Council territory, Admiral Chen corrected. We are reclaiming human territory. These are worlds where humans have lived, worked, and died. Worlds where human children were born and grew up. Our claim is based on the same principles the Council uses: occupation and development. General Mordak tried one last military argument. Even with your new technology, you cannot hold 73 systems. The Council has hundreds of member species. Our combined fleets outnumber your ships 1,000 to 1. Admiral Chen smiled for the first time during the conversation. General, you still don't understand. Your fleets are maintained by human engineers. Your supply lines depend on human transport workers. Your intelligence networks are staffed by human analysts. Your food is prepared by human cooks. She gestured to the tactical display again. Every alien ship in space depends on humans for basic operations. The moment you attack us, every human in your territory becomes a resistance fighter behind your own lines. How long do you think your fleets can operate without fuel, food, or maintenance? The question revealed the true scope of human infiltration. The Council had become so dependent on human workers that removing them would cause their entire civilization to collapse within weeks. "This is the choice before you," Admiral Chen announced. "You can accept human independence and begin building peaceful relationships based on mutual respect. Or you can continue treating us as enemies and discover what happens when 3 billion humans decide to stop cooperating with the Galactic Council." She paused to let the implications sink in. "But understand this, the age of human servitude is over. We will never again bow to species that consider genocide an acceptable solution to political problems." Chancellor Vextar looked around the chamber at his fellow council members. He saw fear in every alien face. Fear of technology they didn't understand. Fear of an enemy they had created through their own cruelty. Fear of a species they had always believed was inferior. We need time to consider," he said weakly. "You have 72 hours, Admiral Chen replied. "After that, we will assume you have chosen continued hostility and act accordingly." The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. The beings who had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years now faced the possibility that their reign was over. In the service corridors of Nexus Prime, human workers continued their tasks with quiet efficiency, but now every alien who saw them felt a chill of recognition. These were not servants. These were members of a species that had just brought the mighty Galactic Council to its knees. The humans had learned patience. They had learned unity. They had learned to turn their apparent weaknesses into devastating strengths.